I'm gonna get this all started. Manage. Here. Let's do this. Okay. All right, so I'm just reconfiguring the camera and just getting things set up before I get started. Right there. Let's see, is this? I feel like it'd be beneficial if they had a little slider on here. Nope, that's a little too out. Oh man, if anybody's watching this afterwards, because nobody's in it right now, I apologize for this going back and forth. I'm just trying to get it to show this without showing everything else in my lap, etc. Let's see. Bottom edge, we can just kind of catch. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Zoom out a little bit. Oh, no. This is ridiculous. Sorry, guys. All right, so that looks good. You do get a lot of extra garbage from the table, but that might just be how we have to do this one. Okay. Stream setting. Analytics, your activity, shopping. I just want to share some of this to Facebook. How about dashboard, channel? Add stream marker share. Okay, so I can share this on Facebook. All right. Once I'm done sharing these, I'll get started. Okay, so we have that up. Let's put a link in here on the Patreon. All right, so I have a link on the Patreon. Let's do that for everybody. Yeah, that should be good. I'll go back to this stream. Okay, So we are on and loaded. I'm going to be working on a sketch. And I think I'm going to go the Trois Crayon route. It's a portrait that my friend requested. And let's see. I might wind up using more than one color, but more than 3 colors. Let's go sanguine, the white, and this should be black. So these are the wax colored pencils, Derwent. I really like the Derwent pencils. That set's expensive, but worth it. I did some preliminary sketches, just some ideas in graphite and charcoal, just to get my hands moving again, because I haven't done any type of portraits in probably a year. And the last time I did any portraits, they were self-portraits. I do have the electric eraser, which we're going to try to utilize, but if I recall correctly, it doesn't really work the best with these guys. Let's see. So I think this is a 9x10. This is the Strathmore toned mixed media paper. Let's just tape that off a little bit. I don't know if this will be my last drawing or sketch of the subject, or if it's gonna, prompt more. So we'll just see what I remember, what I can do. All right, this is the sanguine. Traditionally with the Trois Crayon, I believe it was that red earth chalk. But apparently those are mined out. All right, let's see. I'm going to want him offset from the center, so there's 2 of them, and it might be beneficial for me to put the husband in first and then build the wife around him, because her arm comes in front and he determines the placement of a cane. Do I want to start with the wife? Yeah, I'll just start with him. So I'm going to mark the top of the head on the head, the bottom of the picture. I want it to be about here. So I think I'm going to lay out some more tape just to prevent anything from going below that. There we go. So that'll be our very bottom. Okay, bottom. He's sitting down about this halfway point with the knee, head outside of the shoulder. Arm's going to come out, cane's going to come out here. I honestly don't measure anything when I draw, mainly because this is not my main medium, and this is more for our friend. Okay, I'm just going to lightly pencil in some ideas. In fact, I think I have a pencil. I don't think I do. Thought I had a light pencil that I can use. Nope, this one doesn't have anything in it. Let me grab So these leads are from Legendary Lead Company, Legendary Pencil Company. These leads aren't made anymore. The gentleman who runs the website bought a whole bunch of the leftover stock from these. I think pencil manufacturing and stuff moved to Japan and stuff whenever they were able to make thinner leads, and the 1.1 went out of style. But I like the older leads, and put in a 4B. Did it just break the pencil lead? I think I just broke the pencil lead. Yep. Huh. This one has a different setup than my other pencil. And I'm wasting time on a video playing with this. Let's see. That might just have to stay on the side for now. This one has a whole mechanism inside it that comes out, and we put the lead there. I must just not be able to find it or pull that part out. Anyway, just going to use these to kind of just get a little bit of marks down of where everything's going. Shoulder. So the wife's arm, and this gentleman passed, and my friend requested this for the woman who's seated right here, and it'll be in this part. Her arm comes a little bit in front, passes here. He's got a hand on his knee, on his thigh. Her hands about here. They're almost like lined up perfectly. It's really strange. And yeah. All right, I think that gives me my ideas. So the main thing that there's two things that I just have a really hard time with people with portraits, and that is, you know, the face itself. I did a few studies in the previous live video just to kind of get some ideas in place. But we have the gentleman's hat, and we have the top of it there. My phone's just dinging, dinging, dinging. So the hat's going to go here. That's going to be the bottom of the brim. Here's the front of the face. He has a beard that comes out. And corner of the hat comes out to the arm about here. The shoulder comes out quite a bit, and it drops low. And if I need to adjust stuff, I'll still adjust it. The outer coat, his quad, his thigh. We come on top of the knee right here, but we have to remember the knee that it's crossed over. All right, we'll get this coat in place. This leg comes out, the pants, the sock, the shoe. The picture that I was giving reference, stops right there. Let's pull that down, that down. That's the leg underneath. Let's see. There's going to be a little bit of chair between the two. Those are just going to be an idea. This is all just to kind of get ideas in place. Arm comes down and out. Very straight. He's leaning on a cane outward while sitting. I have no idea why he's doing that, but it makes for a really good picture. Okay, the wife, her face is going to be more here. Get the side of the head a little bit. We don't see any neck above the shoulders. But we see a little bit of shoulder right about here. So her chin is pretty much in line with her shoulder. We get a little bit of fabric from the dress. And then we come out to the arm. The dress, we have our breasts that come here. And we have a little bit of a stomach roll. And her hands are down here. She has some sort of white flowers right there. A watch on this wrist. I almost have the composition memorized already. I just wish I had time to do portraits more, but whenever I'm like set to paint, I just want to paint. I just want to do landscapes. And honestly, these take a little bit more mental effort. But if it's something that you like practice all the time, you can really just get great results and just have a good workflow. Okay. Facial hair, neck. Let's see if I can kind of get a little bit more serious with this face. His ear, the hat brim comes back around back. The hat brim on this side comes in. So here, and we catch a lot of brim there. We're going to have his nose in this area. Mouth, beard, hat about the same as, okay, so the brim to the mouth, about that distance up. The hat, the face come together up in here. This line is on the same path. This hat might need to come a little bit shorter. It looks a little too tall. I will play around with that. Okay, the face, she's looking this direction. She has very thick, full head of hair that looks like it's coming over slightly. And then she has some slick back on the side. There. Ear, eyebrow, chin. All right, and if you're watching this and you have any questions or anything you want me to talk about, let me know. Okay, I want that. Okay, the dress. So we see shoulder, that comes a little bit over because it's fabric overlaid on something else. And come in. Goes underneath. We see a little bit of shoulder fabric, comes around the arm. And then around. There's a necklace right here that doesn't quite line up with the dress line. I don't want it to line up with the dress line. It would just seem too manufactured. Shoulder comes out a little bit. Tricep, elbow, hand comes here. Flowers will be in there. Hand in here. This elbow crook, there's an elbow crook here. Let's bring the elbow down. There's a watch in that region. I am going to try to zoom in a little bit more. Let's see, I just got to give it a moment while it re-registers on my laptop. There must be quite a delay. All right. So, oh my God, there's quite a delay. That's crazy. Let's see if it lets me skip it forward. Oh, it does. All right, so I'm going to zoom out just a smidge, but this thing is not. There we go. So that should be good. Once it resets, we should be good, but you'll still be able to see what I'm doing. All right, so he has a flower here. We have the two white flowers. This coat comes down, comes kind of out. She has the sharper angle. I think that'll be interesting. We have the tie. So I want a little darkness underneath his neck. The head is obviously not shaped yet. His eyes are about here. He's looking out and up. So I might bring that brim down some on the hat. I'm going to go in with black with that there. And I think I'm going to put black in the background. All right. So if we're here, and we come out to this point, come down, there's a few little zigzag patterns in the folds. This arm that comes out to hold the cane, the armpit is about a point right here at the top. So I'm going to bring that up a little bit high so we have a lot of fabric in this spot. Then bring this down here. We'll see the excess fabric. We'll see the white. The hand, I'm going to essentially just kind of mass in. I'm going to fudge the hands. So I have the live chat going since we're filming it live, just playing with something different. I was asked, did I study art in college? So my main areas of study and my degrees are in mathematics and physics. And I'm certified to teach math and physics and art. When I was doing my math and physics degrees up in New York, I started taking some art classes to deal with anxiety issues. And I just really enjoyed it, really had fun with it. So while I was doing my education, I got enough credits to be certified to teach it. I probably have a minor in art. I'm not sure at this point. I was never really sure what I had with that. But that being said, in New York we did the life drawing and painting. So we did oils up in New York. When I came down here to Louisiana to do my alt certification, there was more like art history and the drawing classes. It wasn't really helpful with oils down in Louisiana. So yeah, so I have some art background. I mainly watercolor and oil paint, but a friend of mine called me like 2 or 3 hours ago asking if I can do a portrait for him of this gentleman who had passed away for the woman who was the wife. So at first I had said, and he knows I don't really do portraits, that I mainly do portraits of myself if I do any, and it's been a year. So this is the first portrait attempt in a year, and it's not me. So you kind of start memorizing or getting an idea how your face looks. But it's somebody that I care about, that I consider a friend, and he was the caretaker for a art professor and artist in Lafayette, who I greatly admired, and I have a lot of his work. And he was, very influential in some of my sketches and stuff like that. This torso is too long, too wide. We'll see. Percy, you cannot climb across that. Yeah. One of my cats, Percy, I have the laptop off to the side so I could watch and see what y'all are saying. And, just trying to stream again and see how that goes and how it works for me. Also kind of a way to get, my Patreon out there and other stuff like that. But if you have any questions or anything you want me to talk about, just let me know. And I'm mainly going to focus on the Trois crayon technique for this. We did not learn it in college. I think we had gotten the contact crayons and stuff. We never really learned the technique. Let me silence that. So this technique I learned on YouTube and looking at old master drawings. It's going to focus around this red, well, this is sanguine, white and black. I think Rubens did it. Watteau was famous for his Trois crayon sketches. Yeah. And on YouTube, when I was experimenting with this one a lot, like 2 years ago, I had filmed a video or two just of me exploring it. But a lot of information I got was from Mark K on YouTube. He's a art professor, and in one video he shows the 3 different uses for this technique. 3 different approaches. I think the face will have to be a little bit bigger. Size. The coat does make men look wider. And right here, the gentleman's holding a cane. And the cane looks so cool, how it comes down and then it comes out. And his wife. All right. I'm going to switch over to the black one for a little bit. We'll see what happens. I got this pencil sharpener off of Amazon, AFMAT. I don't know if it was like 15 or 25 bucks, but it was worth it. Because with these Derwent pencils, you can get a really nice sharp tip without it breaking. And honestly, the only time it breaks is when I break it. So, in my preliminary sketches on the previous video, I looked for my darkest darks, and that's going to be stuff like the inside of this coat and the shadows. I'll probably come in heavier with the black. Maybe I'll just kind of hatch it in. I'm not too sure. So something like this might be the way to go. I just want to start getting ideas in place. This whole area, it's talking about keeping that in shadow. And like the woman's breasts around the edges. So, I don't know if you'll watch my channel, but you know that for the most part when I watercolor and paint, I use a very minimal palette. And this is kind of a way of just having a minimal palette with drawing and colored pencil. I like having that curve there. In the photo that I'm referencing, I really can't see much distinguishment between the legs, so I'm not sure if it's a dress or not. But we'll just start getting that idea in place and we'll darken it more. I think the underside of her arm will be darker. You have a fold of fabric here. Maybe just a little expressive marks would help out. I think one of the reasons my buddy, Mr. Raymond, asked me to do this is because when I sketch, I kind of have a little bit of an older style. Okay. That fabric folds over. We have the knee. That would be the sock, and then the shoe would flare out. So right here I have a highlight on his black coat and a little dark fold. You have a highlight on the shoulder. Bring that down there. I don't want to have such a hard edge just yet around her arm. So I'm going to grab the white, and I want to kind of put in a few marks to represent the flower. I don't know if it's a boutonniere that goes on a man's shoulder, and then a, what do they call it, corsage on a woman? Okay, let's see. I want his hand to come up and over. So that'll give me a little leeway to put in the waistcoat. I think I'll leave some areas absent to just give the illusion of the ruffles and the folds. And maybe a little bit of black suggestion of buttons, or the shadow on the buttons. You have a little shadow cast from the tie. I do want to put a little dark mark in around the little diamond shape. Let's see what we can do. Let's put it down heavy for the tie and the diamond. Heavy right here. Heavy, and a little bit lighter. Okay, and I'll come in and modify that a little bit more. Oh, see what I mean? If anything's going to break that, it's going to be me. But I'm a painter, so give me some slack. Okay. I'm going to look for her wrist. This is a bracelet. I do have other colors in the set, like green might be good for that little flower right there. And it might be a little too much. And this type of, what is this? Salway blue. No, we don't even want to do that. Let's just use white. And bring that highlight in. I know I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but that shows my lack of practice with this. Because she has the highlight on the arm. He's got the highlight up here. In fact, there's highlights all along this. Highlight on the brim of the hat. Highlight on her forehead. Highlight on the cheek. Nose, chin. And he has a highlight on his nose. He has highlight on that cheek. A little soft glow around the hat. White beard. So maybe that's how I want to go about doing it. Looking for the highlights, looking for the shadows. Got a little bit of light on that shoulder. This one, big one right up against that chin. And this couple is African American, and I hope that I can somehow render that in Trois crayon. Just highlight on that arm. Watteau had some Trois crayon sketches of African Americans, but they were not culturally appropriate. You can definitely see a difference between the way he rendered white people and African Americans. Well, that was in France. Put on the hands. Let's do a little bit there. Okay. That might be a good time to put in his hat. So I put a highlight on the brim. And you catch a little bit of ear right here. We have either his hair or the hat itself coming around dark. And then on the other side, sharp out, and then it comes out like that. Let's see if we can erase any. All right, I've already planned erasure if I need to erase. Okay, so we have that, curve around. His face is in shadow, the eyes are. I just want to bring that idea down. It's like a flat fedora. Darker marks in the center, and it softens at the edge. Just looking for a little bit of volume there, or as much volume as I can get. Here, eye in there. The nose might be a little too big. I'm just going to slowly try to push things around as much as I can with pencil, colored pencil. Highlight. Lips come up here. That might give him the tilt that I need. It's funny because yesterday my dad asked me at Thanksgiving, he's like, "Oh, when are you going to start doing portraits?" Well, I really just like doing landscapes. And portraits require, I think, a consistent practice, nonstop. We'll come back to that face in a moment. I kind of like, especially when I have difficulty with a concept, I'll go in and then I will kind of duck away from it and duck back in, duck away, duck back in. Let's look at a black here. Just kind of hash marking it, darker underneath, a little bit lighter on top. Just looking for how I could represent volume. And when it comes down and you have that white sleeve, you're going to have that dark inside of this sleeve. It might help to just clean that edge up somewhat. Let's see. It's looking kind of interesting. Let me see if I can zoom in. I have a Kindle Fire that I use. I like the HD Fire that I use with my reference photos. But sometimes it doesn't let you zoom in. It's very weird. In fact, there's a fold that comes down. It looks like it's darker on the inside. The socks. I guess, yeah, we can use. All right, so with this, tapers in, then we see the kind of ankle. Then we have the top of the shoe that comes out towards us. Catch a little bit of the side of the shoe. I'm going to put a little bit of highlight in there since it's like a glossy, shiny shoe. And just come back in with a dark around it. Courtesy if you knock that over, I swear. She's climbing around trying to get in the window. There you go, baby. All right, let's see. All right, let me zoom out a little bit. This black comes all the way up. So with the cats, they obviously climb on everything that you don't want them to, and they'll change my lighting or turn it off on me. Let's get a little bit dark in there. Kind of a blend of those two. Okay, I wanted to bring this dark down. Then between them and his arm, here's his wrist, the cuff. Dark underside's definitely going to be dark. Darken along that edge. And his coat falls down between them. So I'm just going to darken that. Let's see. Shadow on the hand. White of the cuff. And the shirt kind of folds right there, and we have some dark for the pants. Now would be time to kind of play with her hands. That wrist comes up, thumb out, comes up. So she has her fingers intertwined. Bringing this arm in. Here's the stomach. Just going to catch a little bit of light in there. Get a little bit looser. I'm going to use the sanguine to model the flesh more. Shadow side of the face, the front of the neck, she has a really beautiful pattern on her dress, and we wouldn't really see in a highlight the darker lines, or at least that's, we wouldn't want to render them that way. So let's see if I can just get some flowing lines. The neckline. Let's bring a little more shadow. So here I'm just kind of looking for a little bit of the curve. All right, I'm going to dance around. Here's to the knee. Got a little highlight there. And it comes in a little bit there. Here, that's the underside of this leg. All right, going a little darker. Let's finesse this hand. So we're going to see the thumb, and the rest hooks over. We're going to see a little that. That's one of the things, and that's going to sound bad, but I really have no desire to learn hands. And like if I was somebody who did portraits often, hands would be something that you'd be like, well, probably have to do that. But here we are fine. Okay, so the cane hooks back here, comes over. I don't want to make it too thick, but I want to show this highlight on it. And see if I can pull in a little bit on either side. How does that look? Then the cane switches on an angle. And comes out. It has the spot that catches the light. There's a little band on it. I'm going to pull those shadows in. All right. We have a white chair underneath this guy, and I'm not done with them, but just kind of getting the whole idea in place. This chair, it's the little lip of the chair right there, and really, I don't want to render the chair that much either. I just don't like the way they look in drawings. So maybe that's what we'll do, just kind of the light marks. Let's see if we can get back to some faces. under the eye. I apologize if I'm not talking too loud. Just trying to get my ideas in place. This brim is just so dark that I think I have to just establish that now. That let's see if I can move that brim down. Okay. Let's get, almost have to do the two hands holding the, oh. I neglected his neck right here, which gives us a tiny highlight, and then we can get dark. And I can take the black, put that little bit of inside of that white collar. I'm trying not to draw one solid line. I think just breaking up the line makes it a little bit more interesting. Show that there. Now I'm just going heavier with some darks. I also like these colored pencils because they don't smear as much as other stuff, especially being left-handed. I would love to buy one of those little guards for whenever you're drawing. I think she has a handbag right here. No? Nope, no handbag. Just very hard to see folds. The highlights in the shoes. All right, so this is his knee, which isn't completely dark, but I can come back in here and just do a smooth gradation into that light. As his coat hangs down. It's getting there. I just struggling with the faces, of course. Let me give him his ear back. And the black fuzz, I think this is hair coming out underneath the hat. So pull the brim there, and then I'll do the hair a little fuzzy. Let's see. I'm looking for putting the pupil in, but maybe some white ink won't really sit on that. Let's see. Let's work on her face. So I'm going to darken her eyes in a moment. Or maybe I'll just leave them like that. Well, she does have black hair, so I'm going to start putting it in with this, and then I'll come in a moment. She has earrings. And she had jewelry along here. Okay, so she has ringlets. They're very pretty hair. A little bit of a nose going. I said I wanted to go the black. She has a little highlight in the back. I don't know if that's probably not a good move. At least soften it. I'm definitely approaching her more timidly, and I'll have to go back to him and explore some things. Her cheek comes out. And highlight on the back of the neck. Highlight. Let's go with some really strong whites. I'll let it mix for kind of gray in some spots. Let me stand up for a second. My back's a little sore. Let me grab something to drink real quick. I think it lets me put a commercial in while I do that, so I'm going to do that real quick. All right, I'm back. I grabbed a smaller pad of the same paper so I can see if there's one that I'd want to put in as a background texture. Let's see. Let's bring it right alongside him. It's kind of like a blue gray. I think they call it, yeah, warm gray. That might be interesting. The brown would probably be too warm. Chocolate. Maybe the chocolate is the way to go because I don't want it. I want the darkest to be the black. Let's see if any blues. Let me explore a little bit of blue. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to use the Salloway blue. That's the one that I rejected earlier for something else. I know that like probably any portrait artist would know immediately what color they want to put behind them. I don't have that. And most of my mental references are to Sargent, who mainly just did the charcoal and the graphite sketches. So at least that's what I'm mentally referencing. I think that makes for a nice background. And since the paper isn't textured, but it's not going down super smooth, and that texture adds a little bit. And that gives me an idea of what I want to work on with them. I could probably even nope, don't go overboard on the background. Let's see. That lets me hide some errant marks. The hat. I think I like this. Okay. Now, let's try to build the darks. So just kind of the part of the curl. A little bit of fabric fold there. That's might be too much. I'm using the same sanguine as before. Shadow on the back of this hand. Put that there. Use this black to emphasize that piece of jewelry right there. There's the shadow on the bottom of her arm here. I think I might wind up finding a browner color to help with the skin tones. But let me do all these darks first and get an idea of what I want to keep in place. I mean, not that I can really change the darks that much, but okay, let's see the pants. Oh, wow. I have somebody in the chat who is from Broussard, Louisiana. That might be my mom. It is my mom. Hey. So, I'll catch my mother up to speed. So, my friend, Mr. Raymond, the one that was the caretaker for Mr. Tom, the artist, he had like a few deaths in his family recently. And this gentleman had passed away, and I think it was his nephew's father. So I guess maybe a brother-in-law. And it's for this woman who maybe was a sister-in-law, because his wife had, Mr. Raven's wife had passed away only a few months ago. What if the sepia, yeah, that'll give me a little bit of the dark that I'm looking for. And yeah, let's see. I don't know how much I really want to go with facial details. Let's see. Let me grab some highlight right here. Yeah, I think the sepia might have been a good way. I probably should have started with the sepia. So once again, this couple is African American, and I was doing the Schwa crayon technique. Let's see if I can get these little patterns. There we go. Let me stand up and take a look at it. Oh, it looks pretty cool. Okay. Let me figure out her face. Underneath the nose. Lips. pulling the chin. Bring the chin down to here. All right. I think I'll sign off in a few. Might do some off-camera stuff with this one. Need to just kind of look at it and think about what to do. So in a few minutes, I'll start the logging off process. So I hope you enjoyed. If you would like me to live stream more, just let me know. Let's see if I want to add any. All right, let's pull that. Let's pull this. A little highlight. Hand. Let's bring the white coat down to kind of do like a negative space for the hand. Hey, how's it going, John? So this one is the more in-depth one. And it's the colored pencils on the toned paper. Where did that sepia go? It's very easy to start losing the colored pencils once you start using them. Where's orange? Oh, very cool. You'll have to send me a link once you record the music. I'm curious to see what you got going on. And I'm going to selectively go against some of the marks that I made. So crosshatch and see what interesting effects I can build up from there. So I'll stay on for a few more minutes. All right. With the colored pencils, I have such a hard time getting like a pinpoint mark, especially when it's not super sharpened. A little bit of eyebrow. I'm gonna leave that spot blank where it has the highlight. You could add a little color to this side of the nose. All right, let's see. All right, I'm gonna wrap this up here, and then anything else I do on it is just gonna be smaller scale experimentation. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a great day. Take care, and bye.